Hi, how are you?
Fine. So our agenda is really short,
Awesome.
and it's going to be even more short because I worked remotely today to help Abby with her map testing, and I could have sworn I picked up the budget off my desk, but it's probably still sitting there.
My internet, I swear, I need to, like, we tried to get a new router and I have to be like right next to our router in my room, in our bedroom to get a good signal on this. It could be because we have like 300 devices working off of it.
Oh, yeah.
But as long as I'm right next to it, it works pretty well. So it's good.
Oh, okay.
Whew.
Yeah. So I was just saying, no budget. Oopsies.
That's, hey, we'll
I
make
mean,
it short and it's good.
we haven't really spent any money. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, I
and
know.
we
Like,
have a
what else
lot
are we
of
gonna
it, and we
do?
need to get rid of it before the end of the school year. And I don't know how, but
Okay.
with
Well,
COVID.
I know. I'm thinking with social studies, like maybe we can talk to them because I know some of us are having a hard time pulling a lot of super useful stuff from the Pearson
Mhm.
online. I mean, it's good, but it's hit or miss. So I think we could maybe use some supplementary type stuff.
Okay. And see, we don't even know. This
Because,
is a pilot year. So, like, what's going to happen next year? So, we might need
yeah, that's true
to
too.
start looking into that before this school year's over if we need to purchase a curriculum for, you know, social studies because we
Yeah.
do have money.
Okay. Well, we might need to because I mean it's nice. I like the access of it.
Hmm.
I think it would be different if we were in school.
Hmm.
So like actually interesting, but there's just I don't know. It's just interesting. It's just doesn't have a ton of stuff that everybody love, I think.
Yeah.
I like your artwork in the back.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
starting to put things on the wall.
Yeah, yeah. That stage of moving in.
Yeah. Like I was like, huh, I like this artwork. I'm gonna order it.
Yeah, art's expensive. It can be. I want this new Van Gogh painting on a canvas, and it's like $107, and I'm just like, goodness,
I
am
know.
I buying the real thing? But yeah, like oh, it's too much for me to spend for art.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey,
How is everybody?
Good.
good.
We're good.
Good. So I'm gonna, as I've already told Ashley, um, so I'm gonna ask for your forgiveness and understanding that I left the budget on my desk and I worked remotely today, and I have been on Zoom since 8 o'clock this morning, and we got finished at like 3. Break for 40 minutes for lunch. So yeah, I don't have it in front of me. I could email it to you all later. Would that work?
Sure.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. It's not like anything's changed for real. Like, can't really buy much because we're not in school yet. All right, great. So that means technically we only have 2 items that are truly on our agenda. So this should be rather short today. So let's see. 5 minutes. She said she's gonna be about 5 minutes late. Oh, we lost one.
Yeah, she said she'd be about 5 minutes late.
I think we just lost Seer.
Oh, there she is. She's back.
Oh, there she is. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Should we wait the 5 minutes? We have a quorum.
She just said, I'll definitely be there, but I'll be about 5 minutes late. That's all she said. And I said,
Okay.
We're recording, right?
What'd you say?
We're recording.
I know.
Oh.
I wasn't saying anything wrong. I was like, do we
I'm
wait?
just asking. I
Do
always
we
ask.
go? I don't know the rules when it comes to this, but okay. So the time is 5 o'clock and our meeting, it is for 5 o'clock. So we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. And as soon as Miss Cooper gets here, I'll let her into the meeting. So how is everyone?
Drained.
Drained?
Drained. I was in a webinar and I just got off that one to get the brain pop one.
Okay. I know how you feel. As I was telling the rest of them, I was like, I was on Zoom from 8 o'clock this morning till 3. Yeah. District leadership meeting. It was really informative. It's a lot of information, but it's not really best practice to be on a Zoom from 8 to 3 with only a 40-minute break for lunch. But anyway.
I disagree with that.
Well, that's what the kids have for every day, practically.
Not really.
Except
They have a
Wednesday.
break. They have a 5-minute break in between every class. If teachers don't go over, which through my walkthroughs, I've noticed teachers go over.
They have less than you because they have 5 times 7 is 35 minutes. You have 45 minutes of break.
They also had lunch for 30 minutes.
You didn't have lunch?
They have a 30-minute lunch time in their schedule, plus the 5-minute transitions. So technically they have more than me.
So you know now how they feel and the teachers.
I do know how you feel. I haven't forgotten. I promised you I haven't.
No, I know. I
mean,
I really know. I know that you really care.
I trust me. I remember the days of having 4 different preps and 8-period day and still taking on a group during my lunch. Good old Jefferson County. Anyway, I digress. So our agenda is going to start with a reading of our minutes from our December 16th SBDM meeting. And hold on. I've got to. Okay, we've got them up. So on the 16th, it was our special called meeting. I'm trying to move my Zoom over so I can read it. Special called meeting. The first thing on the agenda was that we approved the November 11th meeting minutes. To approve was by Ms. Albright and seconded by Ms. Santiago. There was no old business. The new business, we tabled the January, for the January meeting, the budget. And there has been no significant spending. Anything, just for clarification for everybody, again, anything that comes to me as in the form of a PO, if it's over $500, it has to go before SBDM. So the last thing that we've had that was a larger sum of money was the curriculum for the health class. And that was approved during our November meeting. Then on to the in-person and remote learning plan, and I share that with you. We also talked about the safety expectations from the Kentucky Department of Education, remembering that physical spacing in the new document, the amendments to the new document from KDE and the health department stated that if schools could not be with, separate 6 feet apart, that the desks need to be arranged in the same direction and cloth masks must be worn at all times. And then talked about the remote learning instructional plan, and that it is not the same as the Virtual Learning Academy, which is ran by the district, and our remote learning will happen for our kiddos at Bryan Station Middle School level. That was a serious jigsaw puzzle to figure that out. We have about 20% of our school population, a little bit less than 20%, but that are in the remote learning. We have created a master schedule to allow for synchronous learning throughout the day for those students. And Canvas will primarily be the instructional platform to keep those students in sequence with what's going on with the in-person instruction. And we will have a new master schedule that will encompass everyone. And then we talked about the schedule, and the NTI 2DL schedule had been modified, and we have started that effective January the 7th. And it will mirror somewhat of what will be going on remotely. The new schedule allows for more instructional hours per week. So it's about 160 minutes per class every week. That's including elective classes. And the student's day ends synchronously at 2:45 each day. On Wednesday, we will maintain to have that, as we did today, to have the, what's it called? SEL,
Social emotional.
emotional learning classes from 9 to 9:30. Sorry about that. And then in the afternoon, it'll allow for enrichment and extra support for students who need that support with instruction during that time. Sorry, Kathleen, can you send the link to Ms. Cooper again to get into the Zoom meeting? She says she's trying to get in, but I don't see her.
Okay.
Thank you. And then other motion to approve was by Ms. Cooper and seconded by Ms. Sear. Other business, the document that was shared with everyone on the board or the committee about a special called SBDM meetings, and making sure that you signed that document and returned it to Ms. Moore. Travis, I got your copy and I'll forward that to Kathleen so she can keep a copy of that.
That's the only one I needed. And then we should have
Yes.
everything.
He emailed it to me and I'll forward it to you. I'm sorry, I didn't remember to do that yesterday. And then the meeting was adjourned at 6 p.m. Any questions, concerns about the minutes as they were read? May I have a motion to accept the minutes as written?
A motion to accept the minutes as written.
Motion, thank you. Motion made by Ms. Sear, seconded by Ms. Santiago. Okay, here comes Ms. Cooper. Okay, I think she's in.
I think it was Miss Albright, right?
What?
I think it was Miss Albright who's second, or no? If not, I will second.
I mean, I did,
Oh.
but I think we did
Oh,
it.
I thought it was, I saw Santiago's box light up. That's why I was just, sorry. It was seconded by Miss Albright.
Yeah.
I apologize. When I looked over, for some reason the box was, and I was like, oh, okay, Santiago. All right. Okay, so that was our approval of the minutes from last month. Old business overview and updates on the in-person and remote learning. And I just want to keep you all abreast of this because, as I told staff, this information is forever changing. I hope that everybody has received the emails. If you're an employee and as you have students in Fayette County, you have received multiple emails from the district about the matrix that system is going to be used to determine when and how we would return to school. So right now we are at 235 for active or positive cases in Lexington. And that puts us still at the fifth phase, which is purple on the high end of that. And during district leadership meeting today, it was shared that we have been at 200 or higher for over 9 days. So the committee, it is not necessarily the board, but it's a committee that is made up of people at the district level, as well as, I'm trying to think. Okay. Oh, she's still trying to load. Huh. It has her on here. Ms. Cooper? Okay. But there's a committee at the district level made up of district employees as well as the health department representatives and I think also individuals at UK that have helped out with this. But they made a decision, they were going to make their decisions every Tuesday. So it's not necessarily going to be a board meeting where they would come on and talk about this. So it's a committee, they make their decision, and then they push out information via text, email, and hopefully there will be an app that will be readily available to everyone to access on your phone, so you would have access to it. I'll give you a sneak peek. It looks like, oh, you can't see. It looks like that. So it's pretty cool. Like, so I know they made mention of it that it was, okay. It was coming up and that they were working on it and it was going to be released. Dr. Helm, the acting superintendent, mentioned that at the last board meeting or the planning board meeting. So with that said, January 4th through the 6th, we had small groups of teachers coming in and we did a walkthrough of the procedures of when we return in person. And we've already gone over that plan of what it looks like when you come in the morning, once they get to the class, how they will transition between classes. And so we shared that with the staff and they did like a pseudo walkthrough. And right now, we know that we will remain on remote learning until the end of January. And the hope is to start the graduated return to school in February. And what that means for middle school is that first phase is K through 2. The second phase is K through 5, 6th grade, 9th grade, and 10th grade. So it's during that second phase, we will have 6th graders in our building and all 100% of the staff will be back. So what does that mean? That means that if we have 6th grade teams and the elective teachers who will support, the elective rotation for those kiddos, they will be working with the 6th graders. And when they are not working with the 6th graders, elective, as well as the 7th and 8th grade teachers, they will be working remotely using the NTI 2DL schedule in the building. So that is what has been shared. And then the third phase would mean K through 12 would be back in their buildings. Now, I don't know if you've been following the board meeting about this and the matrix, but there are also other areas or criteria to look at besides just the positivity rate. And one of them that was brought up today was transportation and our bus drivers and monitors, making sure that we have enough to sustain the needs of our district. So I'll just leave that out there. But that is the update on the in-person and remote learning. Just to let you know, in the planning process of this, it was a jigsaw puzzle, probably like a 1,000,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. And we have a good concern, but we have a large population of students in 6th grade. So our original plan of just shifting all the kids to 4 periods and alleviating teachers 1 period so that they could support students remotely would not work for 6th grade. So we've juggled some things and we've got it covered. So what we're going to be doing is utilizing Ms. Sear and Mr. Wager because they were a 2-person team, Panda team at the 7th grade level. And since the large number of students are at the 6th grade level, then we will be utilizing them to help support those kiddos in the remote learning at the 6th grade level. And then those 7th grade students that were on their 2-person team will be in-person students will be merged into the 7th grade in-person classes. And 8th grade, we have enough teachers, traditional as well as dual language immersion, to support the needs of covering those classes and being able to provide the remote learning for the students. So the remote students will receive synchronous learning following a schedule. It may not necessarily be the same schedule that they're on right now for NTI 2DL, but as soon as we get the word that effective this week, we will begin, which is usually 2 weeks out for us, then we will shift those schedules and be able to notify those families remotely to let them know what time and when to Zoom in. Any questions about in-person and remote learning?
Will there be any conflict with, so say we come back with 6th grade and those elective teachers, the schedule for in-person and the remote is different, right? So like if the elective teachers have 7th and 8th graders, they have to teach remotely, and 6th graders in person, are those times going to overlap?
No, because what we have to do, we have to amend the schedule. So that amended schedule for 6th grade for in-person will have already gone into effect.
Okay.
So it shouldn't overlap for those elective classes. That was the bear looking at elective classes.
Gotcha.
Hi, Ms. Cooper.
Hi, I'm sorry. I think somebody's on my laptop, so I had to get on my tablet. I
Oh,
think I've been hacked.
yeah, you came in and it was Emmanuel Cooper that came
Yeah,
up.
I under his name and I couldn't even change it because some weird stuff was going on. So I had to get off my laptop and just get on my tablet.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Well, just to bring you up to speed, we approved the minutes for December's meeting. And I just went over the in-person and remote learning plan, just, updates on that.
Okay.
Any questions? Any other questions about the in-person and remote learning plan?
No, I had read everything that Catherine sent me.
Okay. And so the other thing on our budget, like I said, please forgive me. I left the budget laying on my desk. So there we go. We haven't spent a lot of money at all. And I just shared earlier that anything that's over $500 has to come before SBDM. So we haven't really purchased anything larger than $300 really. And when we did, it went before the board, and that was the health curriculum.
Right.
Okay, I think this is what's going to take most of our meeting is new business. Student failures during COVID. So I pulled some data And I just wanted to share this with you. So during the first quarter, there were 380 students who had one or more Fs in courses. That was about 48.28%. At the end of second quarter, we went up to 411 Fs. And that may be, let's just say, one student having one F and another student having an F in every class. So it was just counting up the number of Fs. And then that brought it to like 52.2%. So this has been a concern, and it's been heightened because it's now at the district level, and that's pretty much what we spent the entire district leadership meeting today discussing as well. And I just wanted to share with you some of the things that we've already put in place, but we need to, as a school, look at what we're doing, what's effective, what's not effective, and then possibly even looking at our, not really grading scale, but our grading procedures or protocols that we use when we had in person and no COVID versus what we're doing now, because we need to come up with a plan. But
Ms. Kirby, how'd that compare to the other schools? Just you were all like, is the whole district having issues?
this is a national issue.
Nah,
I'll just say,
okay.
this is a global issue, then it goes national. And
Gotcha.
I will
you don't have to go through. You don't have to go through the numbers. I was just curious as far.
Oh, no. I'm not going to go through all the numbers. I was just going to say I have to look at it. I will forward you this article that came from the.
That'd be great.
It's a national concern. But in retrospect and looking at, honestly, I only paid attention to information of the schools that were that look more like my school, and we were lower. But we did have increase.
Has there been any kind of look at those Fs to see comparison of who has Fs because they're not doing anything versus who has Fs because they're struggling? As far
No,
as
this particular document is called the Royce Report that was created by Carl Hayden. And it just goes into IC and pulls that data of who received an F in a course. And that was one of the things that came up in our meeting was, are we looking at who's participating versus not participating? And some of the safeguards that we have put in place is that each team, when they had their meetings, they would talk about students who were not participating. They would create a list, they would reach out to the families, they would, conference with the families and try to get the student involved. And then they would then report their student's name to our support staff, who would then do home visits. And so that's some of the things that we've done. And even with our EL population, we have Mr. Rodriguez, who works with our school, who reaches out to our families who are Spanish-speaking families. And he went with our EL teacher and they did home visits during synchronous learning time to find out why kids were not getting on the Zoom. So they had conversations with the parents right then and there and said, it's 9:30 in the morning and you are not on Zoom. You need to go log in right now. So that helped during the first and second quarter, but we're still finding that we had kiddos that were not connecting. And so a support staff had a meeting and they started brainstorming ways in which to reach those needs. And they said, well, let's do a Bridges program. And it was around the same time that we started targeted services. And targeted services only lasted for 2 weeks because then we had to stop because the COVID numbers increased. And so just as the support staff was starting to invite and getting correspondence back from those families that, yes, I would like for my child to come into the school. And it was mainly for sixth graders. We couldn't do it. So then they decided we're going to do it virtually. So they invited students to participate in small group outside of the synchronous learning times and just trying to build those relationships, help them to understand what they're having trouble with, how to navigate, how to transition to middle. So that was put in place as well. And so that was partly the reason why I was like, we need more instructional time, because if we can get the students to turn on their computer and participate, at least they're being exposed to the content, as opposed to expecting students to meet with their teachers twice a week and then do everything asynchronously. So hopefully in the time frame in which we're using NTI, that will increase the number of students who are having FaceTime with their teachers. But we still need to come up with other strategies and how we're going to address this. And we also have OdysseyWare is a tool that we're using to help with course recovery. So there are students through the elective rotation that if they failed during first or second quarter, they were given an opportunity over Christmas break to actually work on OdysseyWare to recover those courses. And it's also in Spanish, so we were utilizing it for our Spanish immersion students as well. And then they also have a course that they're enrolled in this quarter to recover those Fs for first and second. But I just want to bring you up to speed, like we're going to have a meeting with the instructional leadership team, and this is what I'm going to pose to them to take back to their departments and strategize, like what can we do? How can we improve the engagement of kids? And when I say engagement, coming to class, participating, and once we have them in class, participating, and then assessing whether or not they're mastering the standards. Like, I'm gonna brag on Miss Sear. She tried breakout rooms and allowed the kids to work. And they actually had more conversation when it was just the 3 students in there with me, just a fly on the wall, than they do when they're a whole group. And I think the misconception early on was we were told not to do the breakout rooms because of the safety issues of having kids. Now the word is that's coming from the district, no, go ahead, do it. So Ms. Sear, you want to talk about your successes or concerns with breakout rooms?
Yeah, I think it went really well, and it was a learning experience for me because you know, I need to set up better standards for the kids. So I should have probably spent at least a half of a class going over the standards of what they do when they're in there and that kind of thing. Because they were new to it too. So it was a learning situation for us all. So I think a teacher needs to have like set exact what they want for each student to do while they're in there. Even though I had a document for each of them to talk about and assign those to them, but I think it just more comes down to, excuse me, being organized with it. And I know how to grow in that now too. But I mean, they really liked it, and I got probably at least a 15% jump in work turned in from previous assignments. So I was happy about that.
Awesome. Thank you. So just want to let you all know that's what our charge is. I have a meeting scheduled tomorrow with my admin team, and we're going to devise a plan and come up with the agenda and how we're going to address this with our instructional team, and just getting some feedback from our staff, because they're the ones that are in the classroom with these kids every day. And we are starting to see an uptick. Like, we saw more kids participating on day 1 and 2 after the break than we saw at the beginning of this school year. So that says a lot for what's going on, and they've built the relationships. We did have a little snafu with electives, but that's to come because we changed elective classes for this semester. So that's what's on the front to talk about.
From a parent's point of view, the teachers and the school system, you guys are doing everything you possibly can. Hell, you're giving them 10 chances to turn it in. I mean, it should be after the parents. They're not making them do it. It's just that simple. And basically, you've got probably that 48% and that 52%, probably 40% of those parents, unfortunately, will be like, well, they'll cut you a break on this because it's COVID. That's just the truth. They're just not. I mean, you know, you have numerous times to do the assignments. I've seen it. I'm sure, you know, Cooper's seen it. You are given the opportunities to redo the work. You know, so I hope you can find something, but I mean, there are only so many chances you can give, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, if there was a magic pill or some program, and if I could come up with it, then I would package it and sell it and could retire sooner than 5 years.
The incentive has to go to the parent. It's just that simple. It's not. The incentive has to go to the parent to be on them to do it, to push them, and it's just not. You know, the kid's not going to tell them if they had 6 chances to do it, because then that makes them look bad. And so anyway, the teachers in the system is set up for them to get an A if they want to get an A, or get a B if they want to get a B. And to me, that 52% is a lot of that is just laziness.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm thinking that what we have going on right now with the schedule, I like this where they're going and at least till 2:45. And I noticed that my child is more involved in the class as far as like doing the work. He likes it a lot more because he get to do most of his work during the class time. Mm-hmm. So that's what he likes about that. But I noticed last quarter when he fell behind, it was because he was being lazy. And you're right, he's right. I think it's not the school. I don't think there's anything the school can do more than what they're doing, because I think the schools are doing an awesome job. The teachers are doing their part. It's up to the parents, and the parents feel like it's up to the teacher, up to the school, but the school can only do so much. The school has catered around the kids to make sure they got everything they need. Like he said, they got 10, 20 chances. I'm like, come on, how many chances can you get to turn something in or to get the work done? So I'm with him. I don't know what else you can do. I think because this quarter just started, let's see what happens with the schedule that we have now, see how they do.
Yeah, we can get some pretty good data for this month, because we do know already that we will stay in this schedule until the end of January. Yeah,
I like this schedule. I like that he's going till 2:45. I really like it. On Wednesdays, today was his first day for a Wednesday, so he got in at 8:45. I make him get in at 8:45, check his emails, you know, and I have him sent. Now that I'm working from home, it's a lot easier. So have him check his emails and everything like that, and to see if there's any emails. If not, if he doesn't see anything, I say, shoot your teachers an email, see if there's any assignments coming up tomorrow that you can go ahead and get done. So really, I think it's up to the parents, because I've seen what happened when I wasn't here November. I was out of the house and he was here working. And I see the difference. I seen the difference from when I was here and when I wasn't here. So it's the student. And the parents have to do something.
Well, and I will say this, we have to keep in mind that we do have a population, like our population is very vast at our school. And we do have parents that are able to be at home with their kids and check on them. But we do also have families that have to work multiple jobs, and students are at home taking care of younger siblings. I mean, some of the stories that some of the information that has been shared with me from our support staff, where they go and check to make sure that why is this child not Zooming into their classes? And then they go and they're caring for, you know, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3rd grader.
I could see that.
And I'm not making excuses, but as a principal of Bryan Station Middle School, and I worked remotely today to ensure that my daughter was actually on Zoom and participated in taking her MAP test. It was difficult because I was on Zoom the whole time. And I had to like wait for a time where I thought I could take a break to go check on her to make sure she was doing what she was doing, supposed to be doing. So I'm not making excuses, but I'm just saying we have to keep in mind that.
I think 100% there are those parents. I think there's 100%, Ms. Kirby. I don't want to be insensitive here. There are definitely, you're going to have those stories. It wouldn't surprise me if it was 15, 20, 30%. 52% is a little surprising to me. It's just, I'm coming from the fact that I know of other kids, even Spanish emergent, who have Fs. Right. And I know 110% it's because they're being lazy and they're not getting pushed. And then they find out, the parents find out, they had 7 chances to do it. Then things change a little bit, but that was the perspective I was coming from. That's the Fs that I'm seeing. It's from
From that I was just saying. I just want to put that out there. Yeah. I want to talk. I want to represent all of my families here.
That's straight laziness. There's going to be circumstances out there that you're right, and it's just not in Bryan Station. It's all over the country, 110% with that. But for our Spanish teacher on here, and for those groups, they are given every opportunity to turn a C to a B, to turn a B to an A. Emails. I mean, I can't even tell you how many emails you're allowed to send to say, can I make up that work? Can I do this? And I'm just like, you know what? Cut it off. I mean, if you ain't going to get the A, you ain't got to get the A.
Yes, I've had to pull it's called a PLP, and that's where teachers document when they communicate with families. And I had to pull one for a student, and I was like, it was 3 pages long. We've only gone through 2 quarters. Oh my goodness. And it was just like, the communication is there. I will go to bat for my teachers. The communication is there. But we still have to come up with some way of making sure that we're capturing those kids, getting them engaged, participating in classes. And I think you said it, Ms. Cooper, one of those ways that they're having synchronous learning from 9 to 2:45. So a lot of those assignments that were put into Canvas for them to do asynchronously, teachers are able to teach, instruct, and get formative assessment on how they're doing right then and there, and then give the students tasks to do, and they do a little bit in the class, and then the next class they see them the very next day.
Yeah, and I like that. That's what I think. I'm praying, and I think we're going to see a difference with this schedule.
I think I just want to add something as I'm listening to the parents, and I think that many parents this is new to them, be helping the kids at home, and I think that we can incorporate as a school, incorporate the part of the parents, giving them like ideas what to do as a parent, and probably that will connect more. Like what you do at home, give me ideas how I can help my kid at home from a parent's perspective, because probably that can help and connect us more. And probably those parents that don't have that structure because they never need, this is new for everyone, like how to help my kid, what is that you do, what you do in the morning with them, tell me, like give them the more ideas from the parents' perspective. And probably that can help those parents that are struggling, probably helping the kids, because I'm thinking that the kids that are failing, if we're not doing something different, like what else we're adding to the formula, right, to the equation, they're gonna be failing now with 7 classes. One thing that I'm doing, and it's helping me, is that on talking points, I already have a text in a Word document, and before I start my classes, I send it to all the parents at that time. We're gonna be starting at 9:05. So almost all my students are now getting in my classes. So the last time I only missed 2 students out of 140. So that is being more accountable, but I'm reminding the parents, sending that until they get used to every 40 minutes, the kids are gonna be there, because I have 6th graders, which they're new to the school. They're new to all of us. They're new to this system of taking so many different classes, which is more difficult. And I'm thinking of the parents, they will be struggling. And we have parents that their only mom
Right.
There's no data involved, so it's very hard for them. So I think in incorporating more parents to help other parents, it's a good idea. And I don't know what else, whatever we can think about, and probably teachers, we meet together, we can also give ideas.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna be pulling the teachers together to come up with strategies and ideas, but that's a good one. And you sound sister when you were talking like that, Miss Santiago.
I what?
You sound like your sister when you talk like that.
Oh, wow.
She's big on family engagement.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
my niece
I didn't see it like
my
that.
niece is
I'm sorry, Miss Cooper.
Go ahead. Oh, I was saying that my niece, she's a single parent now, and she was going to school, and she has three daughters, and they're all in different levels. So what she did was she found, I guess she found a cheap camera that she put in where they sit at during the school hours, and she programmed it on her phone, and she watches them on her phone. And when they're not doing their work, she can talk to them through the phone. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea.
Huh.
The ring.
Get
The
that
ring.
for Abby.
I was like, okay.
Any strategy that can help the parents, right? Or
Right.
the teachers.
And you know, since you said that, like we have Title I nights, Miss Albright, we could actually incorporate those in.
We could.
On how to help the parents to help
break
their
rooms. Yeah, break rooms and
mm-hmm.
parents that speak Spanish.
Yeah, have like how to organize and how to sign up for talking points. My method is kill them with kindness, and lots of kindness. It means lots and lots of text to parents. So, but you know, it helps, and I've seen an improvement, and just put a smile at the end. But do we have to change like official school policy for this? For it, or do we need to change official school policy for the passing? Okay.
No, we don't. Because what we can do is come up with a strategy or a plan, and it's okay to do that because we're not changing like the, what is it called? Like the weight of the grades or the weight of the assignments. We're not doing any of that. That would have to be changed in policy. But I just wanted you all to know we are aware of this. We have tried many different things at Bryan Station, but now it's at the district level because it's across the board. I think it was after the first quarter, one of the high schools, like every kid was failing at that point. And they were like, what are we gonna do? So this has been at the forefront of a lot of school minds. And I just wanted to bring it to you if you had any ideas.
Yeah. I just feel like because my struggles was him not turning the work in. That was a struggle. Then I'm checking behind him. Then he send it, and then they're not getting it. So that was the struggle. So yeah, it was on both ends at first. So then I was like, okay, let's take a screenshot everything you do before you turn it in. That way, if they don't get it, you have the time and date that you turned it in, that you did turn it in. So it was a struggle. This last quarter was a struggle. But I'm like, okay, this is going to be better because you're getting to do most of your stuff. But as far as a parent, it's just, you know your child. You know your child. Get the schedule. Like I have the schedule. I print it out. I've got little poster boards, stuck it in the thing so he could see, like, this is your schedule. And it works so far. So far it's working. So
well, that's good. All right, so that concludes new business. Is there any other business anybody wants to discuss?
One thing I just wanted to discuss, I think the district just rolled out with a new policy for the algebra students, having to have a B average to pass algebra. and so Natalie Feast just contacted us the other day about it and letting us know.
Did the board approve
asked
that?
Miss Robinson if she has let her kids. That's what Natalie Feast said.
Okay.
So I thought we would have heard more from other resources. Like I thought there would have been an email out. Like I know Miss Robinson talked to other teachers.
I'm sorry. I was on a committee just to review it. So Bruno, our chief, he was the one who was spearheading that. And he said he was going to take it to the board and get it approved. And I've been watching board meetings and I didn't hear him discuss that. That's why I didn't know it had been approved yet.
Yeah, I didn't hear either. So maybe I'll recheck with, mine was second from Natalie Feast, so I will recheck directly with her to see if that had officially passed according to her yet. So
and I'll check with Bruno as well, because I was going to send a letter to all algebra families to let them know.
Did you say they had to have a B average or a D average?
B.
As in Bob. Yeah.
That's stressful.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's in order to receive the high school credit for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
because
not
it is a high school class.
So in order to get the high school credit, they have to have like a B average. That's only
I can tell you from experience and just seeing it. I agree with that. Just, I mean, my opinion, because if you get, once you get to Algebra 2 and you've not conquered that first part, man, you set yourself up for a long career of struggling. Talk from somebody from that experience in school that probably should have not tried that avenue.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily disagree with that. You'd rather them get the concept, but I don't know. I know right now it's hard. That's being pretty hardcore, especially for this year. But maybe they're doing that on purpose so that you don't run in that situation where you've got kids in Algebra 2 who pass through with a D or C, and that's just harder on the next teacher. That's not fair to the next teacher.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
so I'll
double check what I find out from Natalie Feast.
Okay, and I'll check with Bruno as well. And then once I get that confirmation, then we will send out a letter to all of the Algebra 1 families, letting them know of the board policy that has changed.
Okay.
And we'll make sure that they understand that it doesn't mean that they can't take another class. It's just won't receive the high school credit. Because right now, there were some high schools that were giving the high school credit and others were like, no, we're not going to give it because you took it in middle school. Yeah. So that's why it brought about this whole board policy.
Oh, I'd be mad if I was a kid.
Yeah.
So. And it's based on what? And if they took it in middle school?
So in middle school, before it was, correct me if I'm wrong, Albright, but it had to be a high school certified teacher teaching the content.
For geometry.
Right. And so when that conversation came up, it went to, well, what if they're taking algebra? Because that's normally a high school course. So that was when the policy started and had to go to the board. To give credit to geometry students as well as the algebra students. You're in 8th grade, you're taking geometry. Well, you've already had algebra. So you've earned 2 math credits in middle school, technically.
Yeah.
Now you have to have a B average.
And geometry as well. Well, geometry they're taking in the high, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So they are automatically getting that high school credit because they're taking it in the high school. But schools like Beaumont, Edith J. Hayes, I'm not
Jesse
sure. Jesse Clark, they're offering geometry, but it's at the middle school level. And that's always been an issue with kids leaving, I know for a fact, one of those schools and going to a high school on whether or not they would get the high school credit or not. So there's that. Any other business? Public comments? No? Okay. Well, the time is now 5:50 and we will call this meeting adjourned. A motion from someone to approve that?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Cooper.
Second. A second.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Anderkin. Thank you, guys.
See you
Have a
guys.
good night.
Thank you.
Good for everybody.
Night.
I finally finished Crown. So I'm done with it. I didn't like the way it ended.
I'm not gonna watch it.
Well, it was Diana was sitting at a holiday party with the entire family. And everybody was just doing their